What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian from House of Wrestling, and this is my review for the March 16th episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And I just want to make a quick note. This past week, I just had a wisdom tooth removed. So if by chance my words do not come out clear, or you're like, what did he say? It's because of that. I'm not trying to open up my mouth wide enough on this side because I don't want to irritate the area that's had the tooth removed. So forgive me, guys. But with that, tonight's AEW Dynamite was really interesting. I would say, man, I love the Thunder Rosa win, defeating Britt Baker for the AEW Women's Championship. But it just felt like this show, and mind you, this isn't taken away from Thunder Rosa's win or anything like that, but it does. The show did feel like in the first hour or so, I don't know, just very. It was good, but it could have been better. I'll leave it at that. It's good, but it definitely could have been better. It started off with the Adam Cole and Redragon versus the Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Hangman Page. This match started off really good, and then somewhere in this match, it just went all over the place. And it's something that I've noticed when Rick Knox, the referee, is always reffing a match in AEW. And this is something that, mind you, I'm a huge AEW fan, but this is something that I've noticed, that whenever he refs a match, there is like, it's all over the place. And of course, you can laugh and it's like, ha ha ha, that's funny and everything. But this is already going on year 3. Like next year will be what, year 4 almost? So it's like, things got to get better. Like this isn't. It's like, oh, wow, it's a great action. Like, the first part of this match was really good, but the second part, it was just all over the place. People were coming in, coming out. 3 guys were in the ring. Mind you, this is a 6-man tag. And, again, if you're going to have all the guys in the ring, just make it a tornado tag instead of just regular 6-man tag. And there's no rules. And a lot of spots, he just felt lost, and he's looking behind it. Like, it didn't look very clean. There's a difference between when he referees a match and when the other referees ref the match. It's a lot cleaner, and this match did not look clean towards the end. Adam Cole and Redragon, they won the match, and that sets up for whatever is going to happen with Adam Cole and Redragon facing the Lucha Brothers, not the Lucha Brothers, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Hangman Page. But yeah, this match, the opening match, I mean, the crowd was into it. That's the thing. Like, the crowd is into these matches. But when you're watching it on TV, it's just like, ooh, okay, like, could have been a little bit better. This could have been a little smoother. But yeah, and mind you, this isn't a knock at the wrestlers or anything. It's just, for some reason, whenever Rick Knox is in the ring, reffing a match, those matches become very sloppy. I don't know, AEW needs to improve something, get more refs or something, but that's something that I've noticed a pattern of with Rick Knox, because it's, granted, they did a lot of great moves, Redragon, Adam Cole, Hangman Page, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy. The moves were great, but if it's all over the place and you got people standing around in other corners and he's not really enforcing anything, we can't really believe what's going on in the ring. It's just, okay, spot. It looks like a video game almost, where the ref is just there and he's just watching all these moves being performed. It really didn't look clean. I think for me, that's what kind of kind of made me more reserved about the show. Just like, okay, really not into it. And usually AEW Dynamite starts off their shows with really high impact, quality, like like banger matches. But tonight it should have been a banger match, but the way it came across and it just really didn't click or anything for me. Then afterwards, you get a backstage segment with Keithley, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs. This was pretty cool. It was kind of weird that Keithley got attacked by Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs on, I believe it was Rampage last week. But yet he's backstage with them talking cordially. But then again, this kind of lines up with Keithley's persona. And we'll see what happens on Rampage. Ricky Starks basically told him, don't show up on my show or we're going to beat you down. So that's building to something. Again, I think it's from that first match, just how it was executed. This just carried over into this segment. We're just like, it's okay, but this could have been better. From there, you get a video package of Chris Statlander, and she was removing her alien makeup and her contact. Like, just very. If you go back and watch it, just like, so is she changing gimmicks or is it, what's going on here? It's just really weird. Mind you, that's the third segment where you're just left like, man, okay, all right, this is interesting. From there, we get the Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta and Chuck Taylor. This is where the show clicked. It just went to another level. Seeing William Regal out there with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta with Chuck Taylor. You had Danhausen, you had Orange Cassidy there. This is where the show, I would honestly say, it just picked up, where it just, boom. There was a sense of seriousness, but there was also a sense of order and a sense of structure on the show. And it just made sense. Everything, even though, of course, with Orange Cassidy and with Danhausen and those guys, the ridicule and, all their goofy comedic characters, we really don't. It's understandable. I like them. Some people may not like them. It's understandable, to each its own. But this match, the way that Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta wrestled this match, there was a lot of technical, this was a really good match. I recommend you guys watch this match. This was probably the second best match outside of the Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker match. And actually, yeah, I would say that. Yeah, it was like the second best match. And just the moves that Bryan Danielson was performing, just the technical moves that he was performing, just like, wow, this is crazy. And just the fluidity that him and Moxley had in the ring, it was just so smooth and cool. They get the win. And what is interesting is that as Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy, Danhausen, Wheeler Yuta, they're leaving. Wheeler Yuta, forgive me guys, again, I just had my wisdom tooth removed, so it's still a little adjusting to speaking and everything. So Wheeler Yuta, he's walking up the ramp, but then he stops and he goes back in the ring with William Regal, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley. He gets in there, he looks at William Regal. William Regal shakes his hand, and then he smacks the hell out of him. And William stands right back up to him. Then I believe he got smacked again or what have you. And all three guys are looking at him, Moxley, Danielson, and Regal. They look at him and it's like, okay. He leaves and everything. So that's really cool. That was something that was like, okay, now they're getting an addition to, possible addition to this group with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley and William Regal. So this is going to be cool where this goes. Wheeler Yuta is a very talented wrestler. He's had some really dope matches, matches where he showcased his skill set, but also matches where he's been a terrific seller. So we'll see where that goes. Then we get a backstage segment with FTR. Ooh, boy. So this backstage segment, they're pretty much following up on what happened last week with FTR. um, firing Tully Blanchard, and Dax and Cash Hardwood, Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood, they basically say that when they won the tag titles, Tully Blanchard was focused, but when we lost, he wasn't focused. He was doing this. And the Young Bucks come in. And they drop this line of, it sucks that you can't be the best that there is. And not only myself, but many other people tweeted, like, are they hinting towards a Bret Hart arriving in AEW and managing the FTR, which would be really cool. If it leads to that, that'll be awesome. But yeah, it's looks like we're heading towards another feud between FTR and the Young Bucks. Let's see where this goes and how this plays out. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Tully Blanchard and what's going to happen to Arn Anderson, because let's face it, since Cody Rhodes has left, and it's heavily speculated that Cody Rhodes is headed to WWE, so Arn Anderson isn't on TV as much. Tully Blanchard's out. What's going to happen with this? Is AEW, does AEW have something planned for these guys that, maybe a month away or 2 months away, that's like, ooh, after WrestleMania, it's like, oh, okay, this is what you were saving. It's interesting. Let's see how it plays out. From there, you get a backstage segment with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. They're talking about Rampage. Max Caster, I believe he's facing Keithley. Yeah, I think he's facing Keithley. And Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, they come in. They start talking smack. And then out of nowhere, Swerve Strickland shows up. Man, oh man. This dude, I love this dude. I like this segment because it was unexpected. And the person coming in, it was totally like, oh, wow, he's here. AEW need to do more of this with your baby faces. Just have them come in and just get that, make it more interesting. But yeah, this was pretty much like the best backstage segment tonight. Again, Swerve Strickland. He's like, whose house? Swerve's house. The crowd. This is going to be fun. I tweeted, I hope they have a Ricky Starks versus Swerve Strickland match soon. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be fun. This whole segment was dope. Let's see where this goes. This is another good thing. And like I said earlier in this review, after the Moxley, once the Moxley Danielson tag match started, this is when the show picked up. The first portion of the show really just wasn't correlating or anything. Then you get a promo with Jazz, Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho basically says that we're not pro wrestlers, we're sports entertainers. Daniel Garcia aligns with, he's like, you say that you're not a pro wrestler, you're a sports entertainer, where I'm a sports entertainer. And I don't know where this is going to go, if it's going to lead to Daniel Garcia pretty much turning on them and going with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, which that might be the potential feud with these two factions. I'm down for it. But yeah, they're sports entertainers. They all proclaimed it. 2.0 have a new name. I don't know what the hell their name is, because Jericho's like, we're going to go by our real names. And he gave this like it was a long name for both those guys. You can check it out. I'm not repeating it because it sounded corny, and then it was long. I'm like, no, I'm not repeating that. So yeah, that's what you have with the Jericho Appreciation Society. What baffles me is, and I wish they would kind of do this, like, Jericho kind of needs new music. The Judas in My Mind, it was cool when he first started in AEW because it was associated with New Japan when he fought against Kenny Omega. But that was like 5 years ago. You need to update something. Like, he needs new music. Look, if Edge can change his music on WWE Raw and sounded pretty good this past Monday. Jericho, you should change your name because it really sends mixed messages. If someone's watching AEW, Jericho is acting like a bad guy and he's heelish and he's just this bad person, but yet the crowd is cheering his song. So it's like, okay, are we supposed to cheer him? Are we supposed to boo him? He's beating down people. He's cheap shotting people. He's lying. He's turning on people. Like, it's sending mixed messages, and it doesn't help those that you want the crowd to cheer for. When Jericho's being cheered, when he and his faction are bad guys, it doesn't help, and it doesn't make sense. I think that's something that AEW should improve on and should tweak, because the longer they do that, it just feels like we're still stuck in 2019. It's like, no, we're in 2022. Give Jericho and his new faction new music, because one, this is a new faction. This isn't the Inner Circle. This is the Jericho Appreciation. So go from there. From there, we have the Serenade promo, and she's talking about Hikaru Shida and just how she was attacked, and very fiery promo from Serenade. I recommend you guys check it out. This return match is gonna be really good. I'm looking forward to it because both these women get very physical in the ring, and it's very it's entertaining because it's physical in an entertaining sense where it makes sense because they're wrestling, and it's all wrestling based, and just, of course, Serenade has a little cheap shots and everything, but it's so sound as far as just physical, intense in-ring action that you're just like, ooh, okay, this is, man, who's going to win this? And that's something that I wish AEW would pick up more on, is like, have these quality matches where like you don't know who's going to win. From there, you have the Wardlow Scorpio Sky TNT title match. This was a solid match. Wardlow has grown so much during this match. You have Scorpio Sky comes out. He's with Paige Van Zant, her husband. I believe Ethan Page was there, and Dan Lambert. So this is a pretty solid match. I'm surprised this match went on longer than what it did. But nonetheless, Warlow has the upper hand. He powerbombed so many times, and they're going back and forth. He goes on the outside. He tries to go after Scorpio Sky, Paige Van Zant, and gets in his way. Then her husband gets in the way. He tries to powerbomb him. Scorpio Sky gets in the ring, drop kicks him. They go to commercial. And then from there, as Wardlow is trying to get the upper hand in the match, you see Shawn Spears comes down the ringside. So Wardlow's kind of like distracted. Looks like, okay, I see where you're here. And then MJF comes out of nowhere and just like shoulder blocks him into the ring post, which distorts him. He throws him in the ring. Scorpio Sky beats him up. The ref is distracted. And then MJF just nails Warlow with the diamond ring. Scorpio Sky pins him 1, 2, 3. Scorpio Sky wins. And the way it looks is MJF paid Dan Lambert to do everything that he did, and they just start beating up Wardlow. And there's another layer to this MJF Wardlow match. We kind of all seen this coming, that MJF would cost Wardlow the TNT title match, since Wardlow costs MJF the title or the match against CM Punk. So we'll see where that goes. But it's going to be interesting because, of course, MJF's character has built the reputation that he doesn't do anything without a plan or something leading to something. So this is going to be interesting how this plays out. Then you get a backstage segment with Jade Cargill and Mark Sterling. And basically, one more victory from Jade Cargill, and she will go 30-0. So this is going to be interesting. Who's going to step up and face Jade Cargill? Then we have another great match. The return of the Hardy Boys. I don't know why they said the debut. Maybe, okay, it kind of makes sense. The debut of the Hardy Boys. So you get Matt and Jeff Hardy versus Private Party. This was so cool. I know it meant a lot to Private Party because they grew up huge Hardy Boy fans, and they're wrestling Matt and Jeff Hardy. You could tell this isn't the Hardy Boys from 2000, but this was a good match from both guys. Considering Jeff just debuted, they literally haven't wrestled with each other for almost 2.5 years, 3 years. But I liked the fact that even though they didn't wrestle much, and you could see some ring rust with Jeff Hardy in the ring and everything, they didn't go too fast to make it just like okay, this is okay. It was a nice pace that it kept Jeff on pace. Like, okay, he's getting back in the groove with the AEW style of wrestling and getting familiar with Private Party and how they work, and just it was a really cool match. Of course, the Hardy Boys won. Jeff to the Swanton, and Andrade Family Office comes out. They're surrounding the ring, and then you get Sting and Darby Allin. And what was funny about this was you see Sting and Darby Allin heading to the ring. The camera cuts to the ring. Darby's in the ring, and you kind of know that Sting is still waking his way to the ring. Again, he's 62 years old, relatively shaped, but Darby just sprinted to the ring. I don't know what's the payoff going to be with this, if it's going to be blood and guts or something like that. But it was a cool visual to see Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Darby Allin, and Sting all four. Like, this was pretty cool. It's going to be fun how this plays out. Again, I'm looking forward to it, and you could watch the video in the House of Wrestling Dream Matches playlist section of Jeff Hardy versus Darby Allin. I'm looking forward to that match because that match needs to happen. It is going to be fun when that match has happened. But yeah, that's what happened with that segment. Then we get a backstage segment with Red Velvet, talking about her match with Layla Hirsch on Rampage. Short, quick promo to the point. And then we get the main event, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker in the steel cage match. They had like a mariachi band a female mariachi band for Thunder Rosa coming to the ring. And I tweeted this out, and I'm surprised no one else noticed this, but whenever the last time they had an elaborate entrance for a steel cage match, which a championship belt was being defended, it was the Lucha Bros at All Out against the Young Bucks, and the Lucha Bros won. And tonight was the similar thing, and when that happened, I'm just like, yeah, Thunder Rosa's winning. Like, they're not swerving us, and she's not going to get the title or anything like that. This is a really cool match. Shout out to Britt Baker for having the Scott Hall tribute in her attire with the spray paint going down design with the black and white. That was pretty cool. This was a very physical match. It was a little bit short. I really did think they weren't going to hit the time to end the match before it got to 9:00. It felt like, oh my God, are they going to do a WCW and it's going to cut off before the finish, or like, oh my God, what's going to happen? But thankfully they didn't. I hope they fixed that issue, because a few times on Dynamite it's like, man, are they going to hit the time? But man, this was a physical match. There was a spot where Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker on the top rope, and Britt Baker built this like bridge of chairs, and Thunder Rosa just hit her, and man, Britt Baker just went back first into a stack of chairs. It's like, ooh, that was nasty. Of course, there were thumbtacks. Both got tossed into the thumbtacks. Man, it was that I recommend you guys watch that match. It was fun. Britt Baker tried to do her finishing move she had the glove, and Thunder Rosa is the first woman that I've seen in AEW. I could be wrong. Comment below if you've seen someone else do this. But as Britt Baker's trying to do her mandible claw, Thunder Rosa bit her hand. That's smart. That's what you should do. If someone's going to put their hand in your mouth, you bite it. Don't just, you bite it. And then, after that, she kicked out. She powerbombed. Did she powerbomb Thunder Rosa? But I know that she had her in like a fisherman, like suplex type thing, and she drove Britt Baker into the thumbtacks. And shout out to Aubrey Edwards. She counted the 3 count in the midst of thumbtacks on the floor, like she on the mat, like she was counting 1, 2, 3, and like it was on top of thumbtacks. So shout out to Aubrey Edwards for doing that. The 1, 2, 3, Thunder Rosa is the new women's AEW Women's Champion. This is cool. This is something fresh. This is already 2 weeks in a row that we've seen new champions. It's going to be interesting going forward at AEW how this plays out. You know, are they going to bring in new women competitors? Of course, we still have the ROH thing. That's going to be interesting. You know, are we going to get a Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo title for title? Ring of Honor, AEW. That's going to be interesting. Overall, like I said, this was a pretty decent show. The Adam Cole, the 6-man, the trios match to start off was it was okay, but just again, my issue is, you know, whenever Rick Knox has been in the ring as a ref, like a lot of those matches have been very sloppy, chaotic, and not entertaining. Maybe it's just me. I've watched AEW. Maybe I was a little bit more lenient, like the first year and a half, 2 years. But now with it going on 3 years and the depth of talent that has been in AEW, you know, coming to AEW since, you could say Malachi Black, you know, the depth of talent. Actually, no, since Miro, you know, since Miro and all the talent that's been added, like you're deep with so much talent, and just chaotic matches like that should not be taking place, you know, on Dynamite. And it's not, you know, it did not come across very entertaining. Again, I love all 6 competitors in the ring, but that match was not entertaining. For me, it was too chaotic. Now, mind you, I don't mind chaotic. I watched WCW Cruiserweight Championship matches, and those were chaotic, but they were fun. Like, this wasn't fun. This was more like, okay, you're trying to do this to get here, and when most of the time during the WCW Cruiserweight Championship matches, Randy Anderson, God rest his soul, was the referee, and the ref's like, what the hell what are these guys doing? No, the ref played it off like it was chaotic, but he's getting things in order. Like, no, you have to get in order. With Rick Knox, it's chaotic, and he's just like, oh well, they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and it's like, huh? Like, that doesn't. And I think AEW needs to fix that. And that was the first match. And if anybody was watching Dynamite for the first time, they would be like, okay, this is cool. Adam Cole, Bebe, Jungle Boy. But then after a while, you're just like, okay, what's going on here? Whether you follow AEW, whether I hate AEW or anything. A lot of, again, wherever you were, you were just like, okay, what's going on here? The Keithley promo was a little bit awkward because it was like, okay, he just got speared. Why would he talk to them? But then again, it fit his it was just really like, okay, yeah, just weird. But once the Bryan Danielson, John Moxley tag match started, that's when everything just flew. That's when it was just fluid and everything. So yeah, I mean, it was a decent show. I wouldn't say this show was something that was missable, because you had the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match, which was the match of the night. Kudos to those ladies in the first steel cage match, the first women's steel cage match in AEW. They did a terrific job with what they had to do. They main evented. That's the second time these women have main evented on AEW television. Kudos to them. I just wish AEW would add more depth to that women's roster and just give them more time and add the women to these other factions that you're forming. But yeah, it was a fun show. It could have been better in some instances, but we'll see what happens next week. I don't know. It's like I said before with AEW. It felt like they were coming out of that period of transition, but it still feels like they're still in the period of transition. And I don't know. let's see what happens. But yeah, kudos to Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa for a fantastic match. It was very physical. It did kind of feel like it should have went at least 7 more minutes. They should have had at least 7 more minutes of the match to give it some more. But with what we got, it was dope. I'm looking forward to the Wheeler Yuta, Moxley, William Regal thing, what's going on. Again, I'm also looking forward to the Shane Strickland, Will Hobbs, the Acclaimed, whole thing. That's going to be interesting. It was pretty funny when Max Cash was like, "Isn't he a rapper?" That was pretty funny. But yeah, AEW Dynamite. It was fun. It could have been better. I don't know. It's just just something. Man, how did I say it? It was just something was missing. Like something, just something missing. And man, this has got to be probably the 4th show that I've said like something's missing in AEW since the new year started. I don't know what's going on. As far as their show structure, again, of course, we could bring up Ring of Honor, we could bring up, the whole Cody thing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they have so much talent that this show should have been better than what it was. And I hope they get it, clicking as it was, 2 weeks ago and everything. But it just something was, it was good, but, something didn't click. But it is what it is. But like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you guys for watching. This is my review for the March 16th episode of AEW Dynamite. With that, stop fighting over wrestling, enjoy, and I'll see you next time.